Hello and good day to you, kind people. I want to take you through the mastery of team dynamics, and I have it in Gamma. Let's see. I want you to come away with a clear understanding of team dynamics and how they affect project management. Team dynamics matter because it has a high impact on our worker. 97% impact. People feel that poor team alignment harms the company. 97% of people believe that. And 100% of the people believe that project success is guaranteed for pretty much if it's people centered. And it's just applying our knowledge and skills to a project outcome, goal, or criteria. We call it acceptance criteria. Success criteria is what we call it as insiders. Uh, Other people may call it goals or objectives, but we call it acceptance or success criteria. That language is important because once we meet the acceptance criteria or the success criteria, that's how we define if we've accomplished our intent. Since you are a team leader, you will be needing to facilitate and coach, motivate and mentor, and communicate and be a catalyst. All of these things are essential to you as a team leader, as a project manager. Um, as the facilitation piece goes, you'll be responsible for the project timeline and communicating it, explaining if something has to slide, things of that nature, and you're doing the upward reporting. As far as motivate and mentor, you will have people on your team that you will have to assist them in getting through whatever they're encountering as far as any challenges, obstacles, blockers, any sort of resistance they're encountering. You may have to help move it. And then, when I say that communicator and catalyst, you will be the change agent to help them keep the project moving forward. So, the team dynamics, just to be clear, it's talking about trust levels and psychological safety on the team. It's talking about communication patterns. Are we good listeners? Or would we rather talk? Are we stepping on people while they're talking? That sort of thing. What kind of communicators are we? Are we listening to respond or to understand? Things like that. The other thing is your collaboration and the synergy. And you're going to find that you get along with some people great, some people not as much, but you still need to get that synergy, that energy that comes from connecting with another human being in order to solve a thorny problem. And your productivity and innovation gets a boost. And you're able to increase your capacity for what it is you can complete. You'll see we have shared purpose. We're open, or they call it transparency. We're accountable. And we're also in a sustainable format where we're able to keep our motivation going even when things are not so good. I want to illustrate to you the difference between a team and a group. If we're a team, we have a highly structured sort of connection to each other. We share goals and we also push forward with the same vision. You'll find that we're interdependent on each other and we're mutually accountable. We share accountability. And I will talk about accountability more, not right this instant, but I will show you what it is in case you're uncertain. The group is in when you're with a group, it's not quite as structured as when you're with a team. Everybody's focused on their individual needs much more so than the entire organization. The activities are independent and there's limited shared responsibility. There's the Tuckman model for the journey of a team, and I will show it to you here. You may already know this model. So at the beginning, we're forming, we're pulling together as a team, we're still very polite. The project manager is the leader at the beginning, but over time, you'll be representative and leading in such a way that the final work that they're doing, they'll be bringing it to you to funnel it through to the top people. You'll also see that the key challenge is that once you build that foundational trust as a group, you move from being a group to being a team by establishing trust between each other and being clear on the common purpose and having clarity around everything that people are doing, what they're doing, when, how, and why. After that initial forming stage, you'll go to storming. It's not intentional, but you'll have the personality clash, you'll have natural tensions. You'll also see that there'll be healthy conflict, but they could turn toxic if people don't get their needs resolved, feel heard, or included. Um, it's important. And then the next thing you'll see is that leadership may have to get involved in order to iron out some conflicts. But as the storming or the conflict emerges, you got to know this. If you're in a team, every time a new person adds, you get to the beginning of it, you go back to forming again. I just want to make you aware of that. Forming and storming. Storming is with the personality conflicts, communication, and don't forget time, distance, time zones, cultural behaviors between people. That also is an area where storming could occur. Forming, you begin norming. That's when we start working together in such a way that we're able to accomplish our goals. We accept each other, we collaborate well, we start having standards amongst ourselves where we have agreed upon conduct and influence between each other. We also manage roles as they evolve, because roles can evolve and change. I have a group right now, they're still storming and they have been for over a year, and it's because someone won't allow their role to evolve, where they are changing. They feel threatened about the newer people. It's really the way things go, but it's unfortunate because together they could be so powerful. After you get past norming, you go to performing, and that's the best place to be because you're working autonomously but in unison. So you're flying in the same direction and you're making great progress. Also, you begin to innovate, have new ideas, and implement them. It flourishes. The innovation goes through the roof because you feel psychologically safe to get with each other and to talk about new things and to evaluate them as a group and a team. So you go from being a group to being a team by the performing, and you get very efficient. You'll also have very supportive leadership that sees you. The journey. It's either at project completion, team transition, or the knowledge capture. So when the project's complete, you have to do lessons learned, knowledge capture, or retrospectives if you're in Agile. And that way you could do that at the end of an iteration or the close of a project phase or phase gates. There's a lot of ways that you can capture those lessons learned. And then finally the team transitions. So either they roll off the project or they roll to a different part of the company. It's important to celebrate. So we've discussed the team's evolutionary journey from forming, storming, norming to performing, and then a journey. Okay? That's typical of teams. And when you go, you can see where they are by how they behave. At the beginning during forming, everybody's polite. You start storming, you see the negative, a little backbiting, a little chisme, a little gossip, a little what's going on, a lot of drama. Then, once the storming pipes down, then you go to norming. Oh, I recognize that person. I got a digital intimacy with them. I get where they're coming from, and I get an opportunity to work with them, and I figure them out. Then the performing, that's when the entire team begins to win. You feel the momentum moving in the right direction. Everyone's settled into their roles and they're just all rowing together at the same cadence, in the same push, in the same pull. And you'll see that with high performing teams. I watch a lot of sports. I would say go back and watch this documentary that Michael Jordan did. He was with the Bulls for some time and he won some championships and they were called the Dream Team and all this stuff. But there was a lot of behind the scenes. Cheese, very, very dramatic, but very important. I hope you get a chance to look at that so you can look at the team dynamics. And they were performing and they did well. The Journey, very tough. As they would lose people, they would transition to other teams, you would see what would happen to the team itself. Now I got to tell you about the 5 dysfunctions of a team. And this is Patrick Lencioni's model. And there's critical barriers that teams encounter. So you need to know what those are, and I'll show them to you quickly. The first is the absence of trust. People don't want to be vulnerable, and there's communication barriers. The absence of trust is the number one dysfunction of a team, which is why I teach trust. Because we don't discuss it, we can never overcome it. It builds the foundation for everything. And if you don't have trust, then everything else is moot. When people fear conflict, they have a situation they go through which is artificial harmony. They go along to get along. They really have something to say, but they withhold. You also get a set of unaddressed issues. It could be negative for the team. The other dysfunction is stagnation, meaning that things are routine, but there's really not a lot of forward movement or progress. You're pretty much in a stuck state. You're stuck. The lack of commitment comes in. That's the third dysfunction of a team. And the buy-in is very weak. The ambiguity continues. The lack of clarity will spread. People are just in a mode of, let me go along and just survive this. The commitment goes way down. People avoid accountability with the fourth dysfunction. And I really want to talk to you about accountability because I feel like that word is overused improperly. They don't want to confront whatever the issue is. They're hesitant. The standards have been lowered, and there's a growing resentment within the team, and that's the avoidance of accountability. But I want to give you a ladder that you could climb as an individual and as a team in order to become more aligned. There's a remedy for this dysfunction. Inattention to results. When we individually focus, the personal goals and recognition, they become more important than the mission. Also, people don't want to look dumb, so they'll do things to protect their ego. People are embarrassed, and they don't want to be vulnerable. Brene Brown talks about the person in the ring, or the gladiator, the warrior in the ring. And everybody's saying this and that about the warrior, but the person that's in there, they're being attacked. They're being assailed. And that's how people, when they go to protect their ego or fear of getting humiliated, you'll see them go into automatic ego protection. A lot of times it could be around what I would call, how would I say that? Well, they'll create a reality in which they're the hero or in which they're the victim, but at any rate, the way they're telling the story makes them feel good. I always tell people, when somebody's telling you those stories, just don't forget there's another side to the story and there's the truth in the middle. And whenever someone's coming to me about it, I think, is this their ego talking? Is the reason they're coming to me, is it so that I can validate them as the good guy or the bad guy in this? Not sure. But people work to protect their ego. And then you see the team decline because of the inattention to results. So the leader in this case can do a few things. Build trust using vulnerability. Encourage healthy conflict. And you need to know what that looks like in order to model it. Commit to clarity and insist on making decisions as a group. Not everything can be done by committee, but there needs to be an awareness that the decisions are being made and who's doing it and who will be responsible or accountable for the decision. You want to have peer-to-peer accountability, and I insist on it. And as my students and my participants and my group, my team, you guys, you can hold me accountable. I'm comfortable with that. And I would insist on it. Thank you. And I appreciate your feedback. It helps me get better. And the last thing is how we work collectively. That's very powerful. In this course, I'll encourage you to come alongside your team, your classmates. So there's 17 laws of teamwork. I won't be before you long. I'll give you all 17 quickly. So the law of significance. One is too small to achieve greatness alone. You need a team. Two, the law of communication. Interaction fuels action. If you don't interact, you can't have movement. You need to take massive action to see things happen, and you have to do interaction in order to do that. So if you're shying away from people, you're going in the wrong direction. The law of the big picture is that the goal is more important than the role. So I don't care where I'm at on the chart, on the org chart, I'm going to help make it happen. The goal is more important than the role. That's the law of the big picture. The law of the niche is that everybody has a place where they add the most value. So, for instance, I'm working in a firm right now, and one of the things I talk to them about is that even though I'm skilled tactically, I have to be strategic in order to get the things you want to see done. So even though I can fill out these small problems and attack them and get them figured for you, I absolutely need to move into my role, which is to drive change and to create value and to get the digital transformation accomplished. I can't meddle with certain things. I'm going to have to move around. And this is important even in sports. If you're in the right position and you're playing your position well, the entire team can grow. That's the law of the niche. The law of the edge is that there's a difference between teams, and two teams is their attitude. If they believe they can win, they win. If they don't believe they can win, they right, because they already put in their head they can't win. Then there's the law of the catalyst. Winning teams have players who make things happen. Proactive members, ones that are willing to speak up and speed up. Then you have a strength-based alignment within your team. You want to keep a positive culture going. You want to empower people and have a strategy for doing that. And you want to be impeccable with your word and have communication excellence. Meaning that when I greet you, when I address you, when we interact, I want that to be a positive experience. And not all the time will I have good news. I may have to bring bad news, but I want to communicate it in such a way that I'm creating a transparent environment. I'm giving developmental feedback. There's a positive feedback and developmental. I don't do negative feedback. I do positive feedback or either developmental. And the reason I say I don't do negative feedback is because whatever I'm going to tell you is going to benefit you. Now, whether it's positive or negative, I'm going to make sure that my attitude, tone, and timing, when I'm telling you what it is, you'll understand that I'm telling you the truth, that I'm doing it in care and concern for you, and that I'm going to give you what I have for you. No cut, no chaser. I'm not going to fake you. I'm going to be authentic with you. Even if it is a negative situation, I will give you developmental feedback to help you improve, or either positive feedback. Negative feedback tends to be like criticisms and a tear down, meaning that my intention is to not care about your feelings, to not be empathetic. I'm going to see it from your perspective, and then I'm going to give you the real deal. I'll give you an example. Let's say you're always coming in late, and you've been coming in late 3 times a week for several weeks, and I need you there on time. Then I'm going to say, hey, I want to make you aware of something. I've observed that you're coming to work late repeatedly, and I believe that's harmful to the team. What are your thoughts? Tell me about that. What is happening? And then I'll get your information, hear your side of the story, and I'll say, I hear you and I understand. I want to let you know that you being late has an impact to the team that is negative. It is hurting the rest of the team. Give me some ideas for what it is we can do. Do you have any ideas? If they do, then I write those down and I'll say, okay, so what I get from you is you're making a commitment to do X, Y, and Z. I'll check back with you in a week or two to see if you improved. If they have no ideas, I come with the ones I have and I make some suggestions, and then I get an agreement or buy-in from that person. It's a strategy for empowerment, but it also allows me to collaborate effectively with them and give them the feedback that's necessary. In our team development domain, and this domain is important to me, we have building effective teams where we talked about trust. We have leadership excellence. There's 21 laws of leadership. I'm not going to mess with you, but I will find a little handout for that and give it to you. And the integration. You need to know how to blend the stakeholders in. And what I believe is going to happen, especially with PMBOK 8 coming, the Project Management Body of Knowledge Edition 8, there'll be some changes to how these items work together, but they will still remain within their own performance domain. You want to be clear early. You want to have good and regular feedback. You want to engage in team building, which I really enjoy that. You also want to work on conflict resolution, understanding conflict and how to help use it for healthy conflict. And lastly, you want to do recognition and let people know what they do well and how they're helping the overall goal. In order to be a successful project manager and have good team success is that you have to have emotional intelligence. You need to be able to delegate and empower people. You have to be epically strong at conflict management, identifying it and mitigating it and helping resolve it and looking for healthy conflict. So then I'll say something and I'll ask people their thoughts, and I'll be, somebody disagree with me. I need a devil's advocate. I need someone to take the opposite opinion. I really like this idea. Somebody help me break it down. You got to invite debate and dissent. Then even if you don't want it, then you want to performance coach people, meaning if they're not the level you need them to be, you need to say, this is what excellence looks like. I need you to be here right now. I'm seeing that you're at this point. I want to help you get to the next level. Could we come up with a strategy, a game plan, a way, a method that you and I could get you to that next level? And then lastly, continuous development. All of us are working to get better, not just the direct reports, but the people north of us, our leadership and our management, and ourselves. So everyone around us should be driving growth and building development. We have a team that's in a tough boat. They're in the storming phase. Missed deadlines, lots of conflict, low morale, deteriorating stakeholder confidence and engagement. There needs to be an intervention strategy where there's a trust building set of exercises where people can go in and begin to learn how to trust each other. And then we apply the Maxwell laws, 17 laws of teamwork, and anything after that you should experience remarkable results. So you go from forming to performing. It's the power of team dynamics. Once we build the foundation, we can get the performance level that we want from the team. The journey to excellence has a few things. You want to master team dynamics, embrace the process, recognizing that it's iterative, lead with vision. You want to build excellence, and finally start today. Do it today inside of your teams.